Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ blessed. Captain Nahshon here. Hey, we here with 15 minutes with the captains. All right, so today I want to go over a title that entails wisdom is in humility. Excuse me. A lot of times when brothers, get rank or they become, one of the leaders within their congregation, and it goes for sisters too. When their husbands get risen up, a lot of times their humility goes out the window, all right? And they start to get high-minded. You can't tell a brother or a sister nothing. And we have to watch out for that spirit, Israel. So that's why I'm going over wisdom is in humility, okay? When you got humility, you also have wisdom to be able to gain the love of the congregation, gain the love of the people, to move correctly, to deal with your people, all right? So I want to touch on those things real quick. Let's get the humility meaning.
So humility is the quality of being free from pride or arrogance and having a low view of your own importance.
Okay, it can be also, all right, that's all I wanted. So the quality of being free from pride or arrogance and having a low view of your own importance. Meaning, that part just means don't be high-minded. Don't think just because, the Lord saw fit to put you in the position that you're in to conduct the work that he wants you to do. Not to be arrogant, not to take advantage of the people, and not to treat the people like garbage. Okay, you got to remember also, now all of a sudden you get raised up in rank, you don't want to teach the people, you know what I mean? You are here for a purpose. Hey, give me Sirach chapter 33, verse 17. All right.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Consider that I labor not for myself only.
You see that? The Bible says consider. Okay, when you get put in a spot with more responsibility, the Bible says, consider that you don't labor, that you put in this work, or that you teach, that you learn not for yourself only, but, read.
But for all them that seek learning.
But all the people that don't know who they are, for all the people of the nation of Israel that is lost out here and is sick in the delusion of the system in Babylon the Great, okay? You have to be non-selfish enough to be able to continue to deal with your people in that manner correctly. Read.
Hear me, O ye great men of the people.
That's it. That's all I wanted. Read that ending part again of the 33:17. The ending part.
But for all them that seek learning.
So in your humility, you will make sure that the men, okay, underneath you is getting built up so they can become leaders or even better leaders than yourself, okay? That's where humility comes in. Get Sirach chapter 24, verse 34. Sirach chapter 24, verse 34.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24 and verse 34.
Read.
Behold, that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom.
So it's saying the same thing. I don't labor, I don't do this for myself, but I do it for the congregation, for the men and women that seek wisdom. Okay, for the men and women that's coming into the congregation that's sick out there and need to get built up. All right, so we can't never lose that train of thought. No matter how high you think that you are, you know what I mean? Just because you got risen up or, you know what I mean, you're sitting in the front of the table, whatever the case may be. Don't take it too far where you're high-minded. Can't nobody talk to you. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You gotta get that spirit out of there. Okay, get 1 Kings. Okay, I want to give a little bit of examples. Get 1 Kings chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 3. But let me read this real quick. You make stupid decisions when you don't have humility and you are arrogant. That definition says humility is to pretty much to rid pride and arrogance. But you make stupid decisions in your arrogancy when you lack humility. Okay, I pray everybody understand that. Read that for me, 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 3.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 3.
Read.
That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous.
So the father that is talking about here is King Solomon, okay? He's saying that he made their yoke or their work that he had them doing grievous. Go ahead, read.
Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So they came to Rehoboam, and they wanted Rehoboam to, Rehoboam, right? I'm not looking at it. I want to make sure.
Yes, sir, Rehoboam.
Okay. All right, so they came to Rehoboam, and they wanted him to lighten up the load, lighten up the work. Okay, read.
And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days,
Uh-huh.
then come again to me.
Uh-huh.
And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived.
You see that? It said he consulted. What verse is that?
Verse 6.
Okay, it said he consulted with the old men. Okay, was that the whole verse?
No, sir.
Read.
And said, How do ye advise that I may answer these people?
Uh-huh.
Verse 7.
Okay, so he said, how do you advise that I may answer these people? So Rehoboam went and consulted with the old men. You would think that he would listen. You think humility would make him, make him to listen. But he should. Get Sirach, hold that, we're going to come right back. Get Sirach chapter 25 and verse 4 and 6.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24 and verse 6.
25, verse 4 and 6.
The book of Sirach,
4 through 6.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs.
You see that? How beautiful a thing is judgment for a brother with gray hairs, meaning he has wisdom. Come on.
And for ancient men to know counsel.
And for ancient men to know counsel. You would think that's why Rehoboam went to the older men that dealt with Solomon, that reigned for 40 years and didn't have any problems for the most part. Read.
Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men.
So how comely, how beautiful is the wisdom of old men. You should go to these old men that have experience. Humility will allow you to do that, but arrogancy will be like, have you going contrary. Read.
And understanding and counsel to men of honor.
You see that? To understanding the counsel with men with honor, meaning they've done this before. They have much experience. Okay, that's why you would go to the elders. That's why you would go to the older men, because you as a young man or new in your newly position, okay, as a leader, you need to seek counsel. That's what humility would teach you. That's why wisdom is in humility. Go ahead.
Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of God is their glory.
Is that it?
In the verse 6.
That's the end of verse 6?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, sir. Let's go back. So that's all. I just wanted to show the point that even the scriptures tell you to, respect and have reverence for the older men that has experience in this walk. Okay, when you get inside a new position, go to the leaders, counsel with them, and listen to their counsel because they've been through this before. They have the experience to guide you correctly. Okay, but arrogancy will take you somewhere else. Come on, let's go back. 1 Kings, I think we're on verse 7.
Yes, sir. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 12 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them,
Read.
then they will be thy servants forever.
So they said if you would listen to them, the people would be your servants. Okay, if you would listen to their grievances, the problems that they have. Don't just run off and just do your own thing. To be an effective leader, you have to be able to listen to the people. Okay, read.
But he forsook the counsel of the old men.
He did what?
Forsook the counsel of the old men.
He forsook the counsel of the old men. Even after scriptures told him to listen to the old men with that has the experience, he forsook that counsel. Read.
Which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that
who did he consult with?
Consulted with the young men that were grown up with him.
You see that? So now arrogancy will have you consulted with the young men that grew up with you. You don't know nothing, they don't know nothing, and y'all counseling with each other. Guess what? Guess what the result you're going to get out of that? A bunch of nothing. Okay? And then the people that is coming to you with their grievances, you don't know how to deal with them. You forsook you know what I mean? You can push people away like that. That is not the correct way to be an effective leader. Come on. And there's no wisdom inside that. There's no wisdom inside that. Read.
And which stood before him.
That was the end of verse 8?
Yes, sir.
Get Sirach chapter 37. We're going to come right back here. Get Sirach chapter 37 and verse 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 7. Every counselor atoneth counsel, but there is some that atoneth for himself.
There's some that counsel for himself. Okay, you got to be mindful of that. The older men that Rehoboam went to, they weren't counseling for themselves. They were considering the people. They were not being selfish. Okay, they had humility. They was considering everything. They was considering the whole nation, but not the young men that Rehoboam counseled with, that he grew up with. They was only considering most likely what can Rehoboam do for me. If you know what I mean. If we tell him to do this, it'll benefit us. Read on. Read it again.
Verse 7.
You have to be mindful about this. That's why you got to be mindful in the people that you counsel with. Okay, it's always better to counsel with brothers that have that experience that is still that is in righteousness. Okay, come on.
Verse 7. Every counselor extorteth counsel. Counselor extorteth counsel. But there is some that counseleth for himself.
There is some that counseleth for himself. You messing me up, brother. It's counsel. Read that part again.
Every counsel extorteth counsel, but there is some that counseleth for himself.
There is some that counseleth for himself. So you got to be mindful of brothers or even sisters that may be around you. You got to be the sisters that's dealing with the sisters. Okay, you got to be mindful of what they're looking to do. What verse is that?
On verse 8.
That's verse 8. Read.
Beware of a counselor and know before what need he hath.
That's the point that I was just making. You got to beware of the people that you counsel with and know what type of mindset that they be moving in. Okay, you got to be aware of that thing. Hey, when you in the leadership role, much responsibility is with that, and you got to be mindful of the people that you allow around you. Okay, and that's why you need humility. Come on, that's the end of verse 9.
At the end of verse 8.
Come on.
For he would counsel for himself.
Read.
Lest he cast the lot upon thee.
Read. I want to go to the end of verse 9.
Verse 9. And say unto thee, thy way is good. And afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee.
You see that? A lot of times when you counsel with the wrong people and they're only counseling you for their benefit or even to mess you up, to have you slip up somewhere, and then when the moment you slip up, they're not there with you. When they was there from the first place, they're not there with you. They on the other side looking at you like, damn, look what happened to him. You know what I mean? So that you got to be careful of who you counsel with, okay? And you got to be mindful of the people that you enclose yourself with. All right, let's go back. Let's start at verse 9.
1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 9. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who has spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter?
Okay, so they came back after the 3 days. It was like, okay, Rehoboam, what you gonna do? Okay, are you gonna make our work our workload lighter? Come on.
And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us.
Read.
Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
So the young men that he went to, that he grew up with, gave him the counsel to no, don't make the load lighter. Give them more. Give them more hell. That's the arrogancy that they told Rehoboam to move in. They didn't tell him to move with humility. Okay, they wasn't moving in wisdom. Come on.
And now whereas my father did laid you with a heavy yoke,
Read.
I would add to your yoke. My father had chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
So now he talking junk. You know what I mean? He talking crazy to them. He not only did he deny their request, he talking filthy to them. Come on, read.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day,
Read.
as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day.
Read.
And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
You see that? He said he answered the people roughly. What do you think that was? He was cursing them out. He was talking to them however he wanted. A lot of times, a lot of brothers or even sisters, you know what I mean, dealing with the sisters or maybe calls or whatever the case may be, a lot of times y'all don't deal with people correctly. Okay, you talk to them however you want. You talk to them like they're your child, like they're your children. Okay, the Most High and Christ didn't give us this authority to abuse the authority and to abuse the people. That is not the reason why he gave it to us. They're talking crazy to the people, talking to them roughly. Okay, read.
Verse 14. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men.
Instead of listening to the older men that has experience and wisdom, okay, and have humility, he dealt with the young men that he grew up with. Read.
Saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I would add to your yoke. My fathers also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Elijah.
What verse you in?
Verse 15.
Okay, read on.
By Elijah the Shunite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse.
Read.
To your tents, O Israel.
So you see what your arrogancy can do? Okay, it can push the people away. Even right here with Rehoboam, they was like, okay, Jeroboam told Israel, the northern kingdom, hey, he said to your tents. He said, to hell with them. They don't want to deal with us, and they don't want to deal with us correctly. Okay, they don't want to deal with us with humility. He said, to hell with them, and he pushed the people away. Okay, that's the type of mindset that you do not want to have, especially as a leader. Okay, you want to come with humility. You want to hear the people out. Okay, and that's how you build relationships with the people. Not acting like all high-minded, like you above everybody, but come on.
Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents.
Okay, so Israel departed to their tents because you are not, okay, jump to verse 19.
Verse 19. So Israel rebelled against the house of David until this day.
So Israel rebelled against the house of David to this day. So it's still going to the same point because you're not humble. Because you didn't have humility. Okay, the people will, when you don't have humility, the people will rebel against you. Okay, so that's why you got to move in humility and use wisdom. So you always want to remember this. Sirach chapter 3 and verse 18.
The book of Sirach chapter 3 and verse 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself.
You see that? That's the whole verse? Read it again. I'm sorry.
Verse 18. The greater thou art, the more humble thyself.
Read.
And thou shalt find favor before the Lord.
You see that? The greater you are, the more responsibility the Lord saw fit to give you. Okay, the more humble that you should be. Not put on the more pride and the more arrogancy to be more of a a-hole. Okay, that is not your job to mistreat or abuse the people. Your job is to not to be selfish and to build the people up, okay, so that we can get the kingdom. Don't never forget that. Don't ever forget the wisdom that comes with humility. Okay, that's my time, Israel. With that, I say shalom.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be